You got no enemy, no front line. The only battle's in the back of your mind. You don't know how to change from bad to good. You brought the war to your neighborhood. You can't do that. No, you can't do that. You're caught in a trap, Hunter. There's no looking back. Die hard. He's lost in the crowd. Hunter, die hard and proud. This is the Community Solutions Podcast. Jason Bradley, Andrew Richter from deep in the bowels of our underground lair, where we are safer here at this level than at a nuclear facility in Iran.
We might be. We'll get to that in a little bit. I'll tell you what. Whew. You know, I've never seen issues move at such, other than the big, beautiful bill. I've never seen, which we've talked about a few times, and there's a few updates on it, a few things happening. I'm not sure if they're good or bad or what, but where things are just moving at such a breathtaking pace.
Oh, I know.
I mean, I just have never seen. I mean, there used to be such thing as a slow news day.
Yeah.
There's never a slow news day, especially with Trump around. I mean, there's just never a slow news day. If he's talking to somebody, there's no
news.
Yeah, there's something. Everybody's, like him or not, everybody listens when he speaks. It's just kind of one of those deals. But I'll tell you what, we have to. I do know the song. You
do?
I think.
Are you being serious, or are you going to give me like tiny bubbles? You said bubbles, right? Is it going to be one of those deals?
Oh, it might be.
Oh.
I don't know it.
Okay.
I've heard the song, though, and that's the thing that drives me nuts.
Oh, I'm sure you have.
When I've heard it and I don't know who sings it.
I could give you a year. We could play...
70s, early 80s, maybe
1983.
Okay. It is Duran Duran. No, it is. What was the main chorus again?
I never actually got to the chorus.
No, but the main part about what did you say at the end there?
Hunter, die hard and proud.
Def Leppard.
Yes.
There we okay.
Die Hard the Hunter.
How
Def
do you
Leppard.
like that? I did think of it.
Wow.
Woo!
Look at that. That's not an easy one. I got to give you props
it's
on
not,
that.
but 1983 kind of narrowed it down in my head because I've heard the song before. And it's kind of like it's one of those kind of bands.
Right.
Def Leppard's like the one that came to my mind.
Now,
it was a half guess.
Hysteria was a huge album, and I loved it. I wore it out, right? But Pyromania, I think, in my mind, is better than Hysteria.
Well, I mean, they had a lot of good stuff. I mean, over a long period of time.
You had Rock of Ages, you had Photograph.
Yeah, you wore out your Walkman with your worn out Roxette and Milli Vanilli tapes.
I didn't have those. But.
That might have been me. Well, I gotta say this though. There's something, and I've said this before. There's something about that 80s, late 70s, early 90s, before music. Maybe this happened a little bit in the 80s before music became about a pretty face on an album cover.
Yeah.
I call it the Britney Spearsing of music, where it's not about your talent with writing or with an instrument or a garage band. It just became all about marketing. How could you make money the fastest? And that maybe started in the 80s a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. I
with
mean,
MTV
the big hair and the, but the
Madonna,
they still had talent.
But they had talent, though.
Well, Madonna didn't have talent.
No, but she definitely had the charisma and the connection with the audience that I think is missing from some of the later talent. But, but I mean, Whitney Houston had a ton of talent.
Oh, yeah.
Mariah Carey had a ton of talent. But yet after that seemed to be where the whole industry, and I mean, you know more about this than I do.
Yeah.
Just kind of, I feel like we were force-fed stuff rather than, somebody making it big because, of their talent rather than it's like who they decide to put on a cover of something.
Right.
And maybe that's, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but
Yeah.
it just seemed so much different when I was a kid. Everything seemed to be different, I guess, but it's just sort of like, you saw a band and maybe they struggled for a while, and maybe they, finally got on the radio, then they finally did a tour, and then it was rare to see that instant overnight success. Was very rare. It was like they all worked for it. They all earned it, rather than, okay, you're a pretty face. I'll put a bunch of dancers around you. And that's not to say they don't have talent. I don't mean it that way. But it's like, you never wrote a song. You never play a guitar.
Yeah.
You never, it's like that to me is there's a big difference there in talent. That's just,
Yeah. And it happens in pop music. It happens in country, though, too, where it's like you might be one of the 10 writers on a song, right? Or more.
Yeah.
And
it's a packaged product.
It is a packaged
That's what it's
product,
become,
and it's a shame. I mean, you see a little bit of a resurgence with some of the 80s bands coming back. I know.
Sure. I think part of that, I don't mean to interrupt you, Jay, but part of that, I think, is that there's a new generation of fans that don't know that music, weren't around for that music.
Right.
Kind of like us in the 50s and 60s, it's
right.
like, I still enjoy that music, even though I never was alive when it was the in thing. And maybe that's what's happening with some of that resurgence
I think that's it. I think some people are seeing through just how plastic
it could be
a lot of the new music is too, but it's not all like that,
And you think technology is knocking down some of those barriers. It's not controlled by these huge record labels anymore. They don't get to pick the winners and losers as much as they used to. I think they still have a lot of control, but I think there's ways to get around that where 25 years ago there weren't.
Yeah, I mean, there are, when you look at playlisting and Spotify and Apple Music and the way, even with YouTube, the way that you can consume music versus, all the gatekeepers were at the record labels and then in radio and MTV. Now you have all these people that create playlists, and some of them are really good internet marketers, and they know how to write a really good ad to get people to listen to their playlists or whatever. There's different ways. It's still hard to get found as an independent musician unless you know the right tools to be able to run the right ads, to put out the right content. I mean, it's still, it's a really difficult business. It just is, and that goes with anything, even a podcast like ours.
Yeah, I mean, I know that from being an independent author, that I have to go market myself. I can get on Amazon or BarnesandNoble.com through my publisher, but I have to publish. I have to pay to have it published. Nobody's paying me to do that. I've got to, do all that stuff myself. So I understand it, but the difference is 30 years ago, I couldn't have published a book.
Right.
Now I can, so at least there's an opportunity there that didn't exist before. So, yeah, I mean, and I have it too. I mean, I find myself, I want to listen to something, I go to the stuff from 30 or 40 years ago. I mean, that's where I go.
Yeah.
But I would like to listen. Where do you listen to a lot of independent stuff? Like, if you go on Spotify, how do you find, like, the kind of music you like? Like, do you know where to go to?
Yeah, I mean, I usually start with bands I like, and then down below it'll say like,
they recommend
fans of
things
this
for you?
crew also like, or whatever. Yeah, and so I do tend to stick with a lot of stuff I know, but I will go in. There's some newer albums from some of those bands I haven't heard, and I'll make sure get caught up on those things. Tears for Fears just recently put out an album.
Really?
So I did checking that out. But then it does lead you to other bands and other groups, and you start to dig into that a little bit. Sometimes I'll just pull up playlists and I'll listen, for things that I like. And I found things that way. It's like, okay, what do I want to hear? Oh, let's listen to whatever it is, ambient music or what, and just see what comes up, and you find things. Yeah. I figure if I can have music on when I'm doing things, might as well just spend time listening to different stuff, right?
Yeah, no kidding. Well, you're a fan of kind of all kinds of music, though. I mean, for the most
more or less, yeah.
Yeah.
I love jazz, opera, classical, everything except for not a big fan of like R&B and rap. Well, not R&B, of more modern R&B and like rap and hip hop. I love the old R&B from like the 70s and 80s.
The Motown stuff,
that stuff too, yeah. Wilson Pickett,
Otis Redding.
Yeah,
There's a lot of great stuff there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like the gangster rap, but early, what we would call today hip hop.
Yeah.
There was some good stuff back in like the Run DMC days. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember when
House of Pain.
Well, you mean before it became, F your mama and kill this cop and blah blah blah. I mean, before it became that, it was different. Maybe I liked it because I was young and it was on Arsenio Hall. I don't know. It was just kind of, I don't know.
You go to the junior high dance or the high school dance. Yeah.
Teen night, I remember that. We used to put whatever was on KDWB.
Go
that
to
would
the
play.
roller skating rink.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Skateland. Hey, that was fun stuff back when we didn't spend all the day on the phone. Jay, we've got to address this shooting here in Minnesota.
Yeah.
That happened last weekend. The death of Melissa Hortman. John Hoffman, somebody I've met several times. And obviously he looks like he's going to be okay, or he's got a long road to recovery, but I mean, he's going to live through it.
Yeah. Showing up at Ann Rest's house, who is my senator, your former senator.
Yeah. And you talk about somebody, she's got to be like 80, 90 years old.
Yeah.
Talk about somebody very vulnerable to something happening.
Yeah.
Every theory in the wind coming out on, I love it when I get told from a governor not to speculate on a motive when he called it politically motivated himself
before he knew anything.
I love Trump's comment. I'm not going to call Halls. There's no point. But
some people didn't like that.
Yeah, they didn't like it. But Trump said all the right things before that. And, he just said, no, I'm not going to call him. Call him for what? And I don't know. I wouldn't have done it either. Maybe I'd have said it more diplomatically. But what's your take? I mean, I was actually on the radio still with Senator Mark Coran during the manhunt on Sunday.
Yeah.
We had an interesting little discussion about it. What's your initial reaction? How do you process, Melissa Hortman, who's was just in Brooklyn Park. Her house is like a mile or two from mine.
Yeah.
I mean, what's your reaction to the shootings and the whole kit and caboodle?
Well, it's crazy, I obviously condemn any kind of violence, whether it's a politician, whether it is just a regular person on the street. I condemn these protests, these violent protests that are happening in LA.
Get to that.
They're not even protests; they're riots. They're
they
lighting
are.
things on fire, whatever. We'll get to that. This is not the way we get things done in America. I mean, here we are, 1968. All over again, right?
I said 2024 was the closest thing to 1968 I've ever seen.
And now here we are.
Yeah.
When you have people taking shots at Trump and now you have actual assassinations where they were successful, it's never the answer. And I don't know anything about this guy's politics. Don't care. Don't do it.
That's not relevant.
That's not the answer. But yet this has been stirred up. And when people feel like they have no hope and they're already not right in the head, this is for them a logical next step because they need to do something to get control over their situation. And it's never a logical next step. Let me say that. That is mental illness talking. And those people need to go get help. And even if it's this deep-seated hatred, that's not a way that a normal person thinks.
But as hates become, I don't want to say normalized, but as it's become, well, it's no big deal to hate this person, hate that person.
Yeah.
Everybody, as great as the internet's been for so many people, it's become a forum for anybody to hide behind a computer. And, I'm a free speech absolutist, but there are consequences to your speech.
Yes.
And we don't focus enough on that. Is this Jonathan Turley called it the age of rage, and I think that's a great way to label some of what's going on. Just the age of rage. If you're mad as hell, you whatever you do justifies anything. And so I think that that there's, when somebody is tragically killed like this, it does kind of, for a while, seem to sort of bring everybody to a whole. But that doesn't seem to last very long. We're just on to the next thing a week later. And no offense to the Hortmans or the Hoffmans or, I disagree with them politically. I'm sure they're nice people. I mean, we just sort of move on to the next thing. And then we all rage up again,
right?
And it's like we forget those lessons really, really quick. And I also don't think that one person's responsible for the actions of somebody else. I want to be very careful, what I say there, because I don't feel like I have to say on the air every single week we're on, oh, hey, by the way, don't go shoot somebody. I don't feel like I have to do that.
But I also want to say that I think mainstream media does whip people up. I think that they do say incendiary things on purpose, not so that people will go shoot people. I don't want to give that impression, because that's not it. But they hate the other side so much that they want to destroy it politically, right?
They want to destroy it by any means possible.
And if they take somebody down personally, so be it. There are probably some that don't care, but I think that there are those that are willing to go just shy of that.
Well, and I honestly think with mainstream media is one of the things that's never held accountable.
Yeah.
I mean, freedom of the press doesn't mean freedom to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
There's consequences, and I think you saw that with President Trump. When trying to put him in jail didn't work, when trying to impeach him didn't work, when it just kept getting more and more and more. It's a BS trial. I mean, you knew at some point it was going to escalate.
Yes.
And I know Trump doesn't like to whine. He's the ultimate alpha male. But, I mean, it has to be in the back of his head a lot.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, you have a Democratic Party, and I don't mean to make this partisan, because there's crazies everywhere. But you got a party right now with no leaders, no agenda, no principles, no nothing.
Right.
The only thing they have is rage that they're not in control.
Yeah.
So, what's next?
What's the logical conclusion of that? Where the climax? Where does it go naturally? When you have no control.
Look at Los Angeles. Where does it go? Exactly. And I think it's a good. I mean, look, I hope that. I think one of the things that I worry about with this is that your reps, your people are going to get further and further away from you.
Yeah.
They're not going to do town halls. They're not going to do debates. They're not going to. That's a consequence that I really worry about. That,
Me too.
That they're going to become inaccessible. Some of them may not, but
yeah,
I got to guess that may happen. That it already feels like you have no control over Washington, no control over St. Paul.
Yeah.
The machine just goes no matter what we want.
Yeah.
And it may get worse. And unfortunately, I mean, well-meaning things may make it, I need security. I can't go out to the county fair. What if there's a nutcase there? Or I got to have 10 armed guards around me. I mean, I think that's one of the consequences that could happen from this, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, our condolences to the Hortmans and to the Hoffmans.
Absolutely.
It's just, that should never happen. It should never happen on either side. We've seen people like Gabby Gifford, Steve Scalise somehow recover from this stuff. I mean, Gabby Giffords was shot in the head and somehow recovered. How that happened, I don't know.
Yeah.
Grace of God, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, what happened to Rand Paul? Wasn't he like attacked in his yard or something?
No, he was leaving. Oh, he was attacked in his yard by his neighbor.
Yeah.
But he was also attacked when he left. It was one of the last events President Trump did in his first term on the lawn of the White House. And there were a bunch of politicians there, and they left, and they were mobbed.
Yeah.
And he was attacked then as well. But yeah, I think he actually suffered a broken bone or something when his neighbor attacked him. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if it is crazy. Are they mentally unstable? I mean,
Yes.
I'm not a big believer in mental illness. Are they just? I think that it's become so normal.
Yeah.
That okay, if I can riot in the city of L.A. and break windows and throw bricks at cars and nothing happens to me.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's not just a wink, wink, nod, nod to take it to the next.
Yeah, I think there's 3 levels of it. You have true blue mental illness where you're not able to process that kind of information and what's right and what's wrong, and you kind of struggle with reality, right? There are those that are just kind of get involved in the situation as an opportunity to, the standards have been lowered, right? And so let's go join the party. Let's go throw rocks because you're immature and you think that that's actually
The mob mentality.
Yep. But then you have, a spiritual aspect to that too, where there's actual like demonic activity that influences and that can tie in with mental illness and sometimes exacerbate it, or sometimes we misdiagnose it. So
we warp a warped view of something. Well, let's just hope this crap. I'm just wondering how. I still don't understand a few things about the story, but
yeah,
whatever. I'm sure it'll come out. I don't know that we'll ever know a motive.
Yeah,
I don't know that I don't know that it matters that much. I'm always interested in the motive. Why does a crime happen?
Yeah,
and
Well, they caught him, so I mean, they can hopefully get that out of him.
Yeah, it's weird that they're charging him federally. I always wondered why the FBI was involved. To me, federal charges are a little sketchy. But
they are, yeah.
They didn't really explain why. I mean, a stalking charge. I mean,
yeah. You have separate charges for shooting and for
and possessing possessing the gun or something like that. There's possession charges. I don't really understand it. I don't understand how he can be charged for the same crimes federally and locally.
Seems a little bit like charge stacking.
Yeah, it's just whatever.
He just needs, in my opinion,
get sorted out.
It's first degree murder, and he needs to go to. How can you not call it first degree murder?
Yeah,
in Minnesota, they want it second. How? The guy had a list. He went and dressed up as a police officer. He went and made his car to look like a police officer's car. You're telling me there's not forethought and planning into that?
Yeah.
It's the stupidest thing.
It's not coming home and finding your wife in bed with the mailman. That's not what happened.
No.
I know. I don't understand it either. I mean, it's a slam dunk murder too, but it's a great murder one case. And if this isn't murder one, what qualifies as murder one then? What did he have to do? Call them first, tell him he was on the way? What did he have to do? I mean, I don't get that. I don't
publish a book, I guess.
I don't know. Beforehand. I mean, it's the statutes can read weird. In some states, there's a murder 3 in some states, which I don't understand the difference between that and manslaughter. Minnesota used to have that, doesn't anymore.
Yeah.
The only thing I can think of is it's something in the statutes where they're just going to guarantee the max conviction, and that's what they want to go for. So
Yeah.
got me. If Mary Moriarty is involved in the prosecution, I wouldn't trust it
Yeah.
in any way, shape, or form.
Well, I don't think
but he's
she will
caught
be
in Belle
on
Plaine,
federally.
so it should be, federally, they wouldn't, but the crimes happened in Hennepin County.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, you'd have to deal with Butch. Anyhow.
Well, he is white, so there's a chance he does get the maximum penalty.
That's true.
Yeah.
But he's not gay, so we can't quite know that. What I found interesting was that he had a roommates and was renting a room in Minneapolis, yet he had a wife and kids in Green Isle or whatever, which was the weirdest development.
Was he planning on running for a Democrat House seat?
Maybe. His wife was pulled over in Onamia with a bunch of money and a bunch of...
Really?
Yeah, and they let her go, I think, once they realized she wasn't, quote, involved in the... I don't know how they reached that conclusion when she had thousands of dollars on her. I have no idea. Unless she provided info on him, and maybe that's what happened. But I don't know how he was on foot in Brooklyn Park and somehow got to Green Isle. Clearly he had help.
Yeah.
Or another car stashed somewhere. I don't know. We still don't know that. Strange case. Just strange case. Minnesota's, again, in the news for all the worst reasons humanly possible. Speaking of horrible news, Jay, I want to jump to this Israeli-Iran thing before we get to the stuff in California. Very, very nervous right now. I trust President Trump, but this has escalated really fast.
Yes, it has.
I mean, I'm sort of on the fence. Where are you on the whole situation of I know President Trump is trying to end these wars everywhere. I can tell he's pretty exacerbated. He seems pissed.
Yeah.
I think he's a little pissed at Netanyahu, but even though I think they get along well, I think he doesn't like being put in this spot. What do you see as what's happened over the past few weeks? Because I'm concerned about where it's going, and that's my concern. How do you see it with this?
Oh, it's so complicated. I don't know if we know all the truth. That's the problem. It's like, how close really is Iran to having a nuclear weapon?
See, now, that depends on who you listen to.
Right. Lindsey Graham, it's like it's on the way.
Lindsey Graham, they had it the Shah's grandpa had it.
Right.
I mean, they invented the nuclear weapon. I mean, it is strange that a country with so much oil reserves needs to enrich so much uranium. That's a little crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing it for. They don't need a nuclear power plant.
Right.
So obviously they're not doing it for those reasons. I think they're a close ally of Russia.
Yes.
Russia has a lot of missing nuclear warheads from the Soviet Union days. I think there's every reason to believe that they're have some capability or technology. Of course, they have their sleeper cells.
Yes.
They've been financing Hamas and Hezbollah a lot.
And the Houthis.
That too. Having said that, part of me is, and I don't know if it's just become my distrust of our intelligence agencies or constantly listening to the war drum that just kind of I'm a little skeptical that they're days away from. I feel like I've heard that, like you said. I feel like I've heard that my entire life. I've heard that.
Saddam's got WMDs.
Well, I mean, but again, this is part of not knowing. You go back to Iraq, he kicks the weapons inspectors out in the 90s.
Yeah.
We don't have any idea what he's doing. Based on his history, it was hard not to suspect what were you going to do? Dig it up somewhere in the sand? And I don't know. But I think part of me is skeptic. There's a decent chance that it's true.
Yeah.
And do you err on the side of, well, I don't trust the CIA anymore? or do you err on the side of, well, if we think we can hit something and avoid any kind of, you got to avoid nuclear war at all costs.
Yes.
So I don't know. I mean, I what do you think? Do you think that they're close, or do you think that that's blustering? Do you trust Israel 100%? I mean,
well, no, and nobody should trust anybody 100%. You know, I support Israel. I bless Israel when I pray for Israel. I bless them. I pray for their peace. That's, you know, biblically the right thing to do. You know, those who bless Israel will be blessed. Those who curse Israel will be cursed. However, that doesn't mean that I always agree with everything they do. It doesn't mean I trust Mossad or, you know, but it does mean that I'm gonna put more trust in them than I am in Iran.
sure.
I mean, Iran's given us no reason to trust them with anything.
Yeah.
I mean, their record kind of speaks for themselves, and the fact that, oh, go ahead.
So how do you see? Because my concern is, how do you dial this back? How do you make a deal with them if you don't trust them? Even the IEEA, that is totally run by the UN, totally corrupt. Even they're saying Iran's cheating left and right. I mean, they don't. I mean, those guys couldn't find their ass with both hands. I mean, what? You know, I mean, I'm just saying. This is where I think for Israel, and look, Iran's a direct threat to them. It's very different. Iran's not a direct threat to us. It's different.
Yeah.
And I can understand it, but I think what's happening is, and I like Benjamin Netanyahu, but I think for them, this is becoming about regime change. Not so much about a defensive move against, I think their goal is to get rid of the Ayatollah, to knock the country into chaos, to knock them back 50 years.
Yeah.
And I don't know that's because I always say this. Okay, say Trump gives the green light to use the whatever bunker buster we're supposed to use.
Yeah.
Whether that really is where the stuff is, I don't know. I have no idea. That's what we're told. Okay, fine. What comes after that? Iran's not going to take that laying down. So do they come after U.S. warships? Do they open sleeper cells? Do they hit us economically? Does the other country side with Iran? Do the Iranian people see that as an attack on their country, not an attack on their government? How does that happen?
Oh, goodness, it's so complicated.
Yeah, see, it's just a hornet's nest.
Because you've got two groups within Iran. I mean, Iran back in the 70s was super, I don't want to use progressive.
No, they were westernized.
They were westernized.
Yeah.
They, you know,
theocracy took them back to the feudal system.
Absolutely.
The Shah wanted to westernize. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't great, but because of that, you had women that weren't wearing hijabs. You had women getting educated. You had freedom,
booming economy.
Yeah. But then, the whole deal with the theocracy of Iran was never good. But even within the theocracy of Iran, you have separate groups. You have the traditionalists, which are just theocrats. Right? The world shall be Islamic, and we're going to set up, an Islamic government that will set a caliphate across the world, and they were at odds with Christians and Jews and even the Sunnis, right?
Sure.
But then within that group, you had
saw the same thing in Iraq,
right?
With the Sunnis, the Kurds, the Shia.
Yeah, exactly.
The Shia had the power, even though they were the minority in the country.
Right.
Yeah.
You take a look then at the government and the theocracy of it, and within the group of Shia that rule Iran, you have the traditionalists, which I just explained, and then you have the Twelvers. And the Twelvers believe that and let me say, the Twelvers were deemed so crazy that they were kind of banished and not allowed to be part of government at all. But Ahmadinejad, when he was president, that's the first time I was really aware of Twelvers coming into the government. The Twelvers.
Well, remember, the original Ayatollah Khomeini was in exile for a long time. He spent like 10 years in exile, came back after the Shah's overthrow.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, I think the Shah had dealt with some of his political opponents not very nicely,
right?
But which I think weakened him later. But Ahmadinejad definitely brought back sort of the more, however you would put it.
Well, he was a Twelver, or is a Twelver. I think he's still alive.
Yeah, he is.
And that's even more dangerous because what they believe that there have been 11, what's the word here? Mahdis, or these religious figures, throughout history from Muhammad until now. There was a 12th one. The 12th one, as a boy, went into a well and disappeared. And they're waiting for this 12th Imam or the 12th Mahdi to come up out of the well, and that he is going to lead the Muslim world into basically paradise, into the coming of the new age. And that's going to happen by causing chaos and bloodshed, that they can speed that process up. The problem is, if you look at what the Twelvers say about the 12th Mahdi, right, is that he is an exact match for the Antichrist in the Christian Bible, and then who we say Jesus is, they paint to be their evil person. Now, that's not true within traditional Islam, who they revere Jesus as a prophet, but they don't look at him as the Messiah. And there's a whole complicated thing there. But within this group of Twelvers, it's super dangerous because they think the only way for them to get into this age of enlightenment, this Islam ruling the whole world in peace, is by causing bloodshed and chaos now to speed that up.
Wow. Ouch.
Yes.
Dang.
And that's who a lot of the people in the Iranian government are. So when you're looking at this, right, it is literally you're having to, and Trump's the best negotiator probably in the world. He's one of them.
I'd put him in charge.
You can't negotiate with madmen. That's the problem, who have a death wish. You can't. What are you going to force their hand on when they want chaos and they want bloodshed?
Well, and here's the other thing. Their nuclear, or as George W. would call it, nuclear capabilities is their only, I hate to use the word trump card, but it's their only leverage.
Yes.
I mean, if they don't have that, they have no... It's almost like becomes suicidal after that,
right?
And so I don't know. I'm just concerned about. Look, I don't know if I have the perfect solution. I think if Israel feels they need to do something, clearly it's with our knowledge, but I don't know if I want the United States to be the one that goes in and takes us out.
I don't.
So how do you walk it back?
How do you walk it back?
How do you tell us, hey, you live in Tehran, I'd get out of there. Hey, Ayatollah, I know where you are. I could press a button. And I don't know where you walk that back. Now, you're hearing conflicting things. I didn't know Khomeini had a Twitter account, but he went off on Trump on it. And yet Iran is begging. Europeans are intervening with something tomorrow. Yeah. And Trump kind of doesn't seem like he wants to talk to anybody right now. Yeah. It might just be holding them in fear for a little while to buy some time. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know how this gets walked back now. And I don't know how the Israelis, are going to end up, but they could take out this bunker with special forces. Now that requires people on the ground, and maybe they don't want that. Israel can easily control the airspace there, because their technology is so superior. But I don't know. I think I like how Trump is deliberate and he doesn't knee-jerk this stuff.
Yeah.
And I think he's considering all the consequences. I think the team around him is pretty solid. I mean, I have my differences with some people, Radcliffe and Rubio, but I think he also has the Tulsi Gabbards, and I think he has a wide range of views around him.
Yes.
To where, I don't know that you're going to see. I don't know that you're going to see action here. I don't think he wants to.
No, he doesn't want to.
He doesn't want war.
So it's like, I mean, he understands what's on the table.
Yeah, I just wonder what's next. I mean, that's we don't know.
No,
we can only play out scenarios.
We don't, and it's tough because, as I was kind of talking about in Iran before, you've got this dichotomy within Iran where you've got the more Persian people they remember the 70s. They remember how things were. And you've got a lot of Iranians that do not like the theocracy.
Yeah, a lot of younger Iranians too.
Yes.
It's like in India, there's a very young population there.
Yeah.
I didn't realize there was 90 million people in Iran. I mean, it's a pretty populated country. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'd do. I don't like the warmongering. I don't like this idea that, just do it. Just take it out. But it's like, those people haven't been right yet.
Right.
When it comes to this stuff. Now, there's some people who favor that who are a lot more thoughtful.
Yeah.
And do have legit concerns, and I don't want to go over who they are and who they aren't. I mean, I've listened to them too. I know that the American people have no desire to get involved in it. Zero. And I know there won't be American troops on the ground. There won't be anything like that. But
the most that we would do is send bunker busters over to get down to destroy those nuclear facilities. We are the only ones that can do it. I just don't know that I'm sold on that we should.
And here's the other thing, too. If this does lead to regime change or something like that, we own it. We're going to have to own part of that and say, all right, we made that decision knowing that could happen. Mm-hmm. I don't know what replaces the mullahs and I don't know.
My advice is stay out of it.
Or if
every time we've got involved, look what's happened.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of a time we've been right.
This is our State Department's MO, or has been, that we get involved when we don't like a government. We get involved, throw a little color revolution, and then
Syria, Libya,
Egypt.
Yeah, I mean, have you not seen this before?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's ridiculous.
I think there's legit reasons to do both. I think there's legit reasons to do nothing. There's legit reasons to do something. There's legit reasons to step back. And if Israel wants to do it, we're not going to stand in their way.
Yeah, I don't think we should.
I don't know. But I'm not convinced that we have to do this either. But it could go either way. I see President Trump taking the foot off the gas a little bit, though, the last day or two. And I don't know if there's back channel stuff going on. But again, I don't know how you trust him on a deal.
Right. What? There's word the Iranians wanted to come to the White House.
Well okay, they had a 60-day thing that they talked about. Trump goes, I told them 5,000 times to make a deal.
Yep. Day 61, no deal. Look what happens.
Yeah, I mean, they were just running out the clock. They were BSing them the whole time.
Yeah.
I think I'm pissed.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I just hope for humanity's sake that somehow the brakes get put on this.
Yeah.
For Israel's sake and for Iran's sake, for the citizens, for the people. I just hope.
Yeah.
I always hope that open conflict doesn't happen.
Me too. But again, let's look at this. And we've seen this play out kind of in the whole Russia-Ukraine thing. We've seen it play out in the Israel versus Hamas thing, right?
Yeah.
Where you have Israel going in and taking out their missile launchers, taking out their aircraft, their supply of military weaponry, And then you have Iran bombing hospitals and apartment buildings. But yet Israel's the bad guy, and Iran is, in the eyes of some liberals and conservatives, looking good in all of this. Please explain this to me.
I think there's less of that, though. If you actually look at the world reaction right now, there's less of the anti-Semitic stuff than I expected.
Yeah, I mean,
there's a little less of it in Congress, too. I mean, there's people who don't want the U.S. to get involved. That's different from just hating Israel.
Right.
But I think even the people who, I mean, I still feel that it's less than I thought it would be. I thought there'd be protests on college campuses right now. I thought there'd be the far left going nuts, and I think that they're a little bit more thinking, it's gone too far now.
Yeah.
They've gone too far. We gave them a chance to make a deal, and they wouldn't make a deal. They've lied to us 5,000 times about this. They're going to bomb Israeli apartment buildings. It's indefensible. So I just think that there's a little bit. I think the split in the MAGA world, which I think is overblown, but I think it is. America first does not mean that we put our heads in the sand worldwide. You can't do that. The world's too small. I think what it means to me is we don't nation build, we don't preemptive war, we don't endlessly fund crap. We're not going to, we're not going to protect every NATO country and pay for it. I think that's quite different from not supporting a friend. Yeah. And I think that maybe there's, I heard Marjorie Taylor Greene go off about it, and even though she made a few good points, but she was a little tactless. But I mean, But I didn't. I can respect what she's saying, but I don't know that a clear-cut alternative was. I don't know if they have an answer beyond that.
Yeah,
and so
But I don't understand Tucker Carlson. Candace Owens is off her rocker about Israel. I don't get it.
I don't either. And these are people that I really like and respect. Jeffrey Sachs is another one who I like. Glenn Greenwald, and they're all opposed to it, even though they've praised. Jeffrey Sachs went out of his way to praise Trump for everything he's tried to do, and it's like, okay, but where do you get to a point where I don't know what Tucker's thinking either, but I don't know. But I think that they're a distinct minority. I think the blow up in MAGA world, I think is. Yeah. I don't think it's really there. I think everybody knows that this is not going to be some sort of invasion or something. I think everyone knows that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just have a gut feeling that action is the unintended consequences of that could be pretty bad. And I think there's a little friction between Trump and Netanyahu, a little bit,
maybe.
I think they like each other.
Yeah.
I loved when Netanyahu came here last summer and he met with Trump instead of Biden.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think they like each other, and I think they get along very well, but I think Trump doesn't like being put in this position. I just think, clearly the first initial action in Iran happened with Trump's knowledge. I don't know if it happened with his approval, but it happened with his knowledge.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm not sure how you walk this back right now, and I don't know how you get a lasting deal with a side that's proven they can't be trusted. At the same time, I don't want to start bombing people either. So I don't know what the middle course is there.
Right.
There ain't one. There isn't one.
No, not really.
What do you think's going to happen? You think Trump puts the brakes on?
I know he hates war. Almost more than anything, he hates war, and he does not want to go to war. It's a last resort.
Yeah, and he wants to focus on his domestic agenda.
Yep, he does. This is a distraction from all of that. This interferes with his ability to do trade deals and things like that.
Very much so.
But he is very afraid of nuclear war, and rightfully so, because if you have nuclear bombs in the hands of madmen, and it's one thing to have it in the hands of Kim Jong-il or Kim Jong-un, that he's nuts, but he just kind of keeps to himself, and he does his little firing missiles into the sea every year.
You know how many nuclear warheads we have pointed at North Korea right now if he ever made a move?
Right.
But again, Iran with the terror groups and stuff.
They're looking to die because they're going to go meet their virgins in whatever they call
Kim
it.
Jong-un wants to survive.
Yes, exactly. There's a little difference there. Like I say, the Iranians have a death wish. So it's more unpredictable. You cannot allow them to have a nuclear bomb, So what do? I mean, you don't have a good option, and if you're the only one who can take them out, and you think that they're this close, what do?
Well, I think we'll know. They're gonna have to strike Iran in the night.
Yeah.
Which is in the day here.
Right.
It's quite a flight from one that can deliver this bomb. We're going to know when they take off.
Yeah.
I mean, we may not know, but...
Right.
I don't know. I just pray for peace. My gut tells me Trump won't do it.
He doesn't want to.
Yeah, but I think if he's backed in a corner, he may feel he has to.
Yeah. I think that's where he's at.
Yeah, but you can see him hesitating. You just sort of see him I think of so many presidents who would have done this already.
Oh, yeah.
Not even thought of the consequences. Mm-hmm. And just saber rattled about it.
Yeah.
And I just, it's nice to have a president who doesn't do that.
He knows. I mean, there are like 8 million terrorists inside of the United States. And
I wonder who let them in.
I wish I knew. And that a sleeper cell or 50 or 150 could be called into action at a moment's notice. They've been preparing. They've been, that is a frightening proposition. And you have to think of that as well, because, they may not be able to reach us with missiles, but they have things already inside of the U.S. set up to cause havoc and bloodshed here in this nation. And we can't allow that either.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's where we value our people enough to,
I think it's brutal. It's just a brutal world.
Yeah.
Speaking of brutal.
Yes.
What is going on in California?
Oh, my word.
Which has settled down a little bit.
A little bit.
But it's still totally out of hand there.
Yeah.
Going on in other cities. In other cities, it's not quite... I think they're a little afraid to ratchet it up in other cities.
Yeah.
But you have immigration law. Hey, let me ask a question.
Okay.
If the federal government was going somewhere to do something other than immigration, would the locals ever step in and say, no, you can't do it?
Yeah, there's some things, I'm sure.
I mean, we have any other kind of criminal. The FBI is trying to crack down or whatever like that. Would the locals ever step in and say, no, you can't do it?
No, probably not. I'd think about the mafia operating out of Chicago or something, and say the FBI comes in wanting to crack down on the mafia. Locals aren't going to stand in their way.
Yeah, locals might be bought off. Yeah, I mean, I can't think of another issue. Why is it that you can see? I think of this the way I think of like Jackson and the nullification crisis.
Yeah.
Or Fort Sumter or something like that. We've had this debate about what can happen in state versus federal.
Yes.
South Carolina said, no, we're not going to collect a tariff. We're not going to do it.
Yeah.
And President Jackson, oh, really? Well, we'll see about that.
Yeah.
And Jackson didn't want a war. He rightly calculated that South Carolina felt the same way, but he established that you don't want to pay a tariff, then we have to pass that into law. You don't get to nullify a federal law. We've gone through things like this. We do that at Fort Sumter about, how to, what's federal property, what's state, it's pretty clear that the federal government has an obligation to control the border. They have an obligation to deport criminals who don't belong in this country.
Yes.
And you are a criminal if you came into this country illegally.
Yes.
Now, how we end up dealing with all the people that's not what we're discussing right now. That is a interesting question we're going to face, and we have to at some point. But the idea that ICE is going to remove people illegally who are illegally in this country, and a state can stand in the way and try to sue the president, is beyond crazy. I mean, I am baffled that this could even go forward. Trump can't use the National Guard? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Eisenhower and Kennedy used the National Guard to integrate schools in the South.
Mm-hmm.
George Bush Sr. sent the National Guard into the Persian Gulf War.
Yes.
Bill Clinton sent the National Guard into peacekeeping missions in Kosovo and Bosnia. George W. and Barack Obama sent the National Guard to Iraq and Afghanistan. And you're going to tell me that some stretch of logic says that Trump can't send them to California?
Yeah. Posse comitatus.
I mean, are you kidding?
That's posse comitatus does not. That's talking about our military sending the Marines in, but there are still elements within the federal code, like constitutionally and within the federal code, that give him the power to do it. And insurrection is one of those.
And I also think that Trump looks back at Minneapolis and thinks he should have acted.
Yes.
I really think this is part of that he waited for Walz. He offered.
Yeah.
Walz turned him down, and the situation got out of hand.
Yeah.
And he was just determined that was not going to happen again. Period.
Yeah.
And I think it was, again, you got another blue state governor who doesn't want to. And boy, you talk about a guy whose national cred has just it's really suffering. Newsom's, if Newsom ever ran for president, I would play the clip where he said Biden won the debate against Trump. That would be my favorite. That'd be my commercial right there. But I mean, how can LA sit back and just act like nothing was wrong, call it mostly peaceful?
Oh, I know.
I mean, what are you thinking? I remember the sheriff came out, and if you listened to him, he was begging for help, but he didn't want to say it.
Yeah.
Because he probably would have gotten fired. I mean, they clearly didn't have it under control. They weren't even close to having it under control.
No.
And is the president still supposed to sit back and do nothing? I mean,
No.
are you going to let ICE agents get attacked?
I think that they have to draw the line.
I think if President Trump had done nothing, this would have spread 10 times faster. I think the fact that he acted is why you're not seeing the craziness all over the place.
Yeah.
I really think that's a big thing. I mean, I really think it's, I thought you'd see Chicago go crazy. I didn't think New York as much. I think Mayor Adams is a little more level-headed than some of these other mayors. But, I mean, I thought you'd see it in Seattle. I thought you'd see it in all these stupid big blue cities.
Yeah.
And there's been a little bit of it, but you haven't you haven't seen it quite get out of hand.
Yeah, which is amazing when you look at how many millions of dollars, tens of millions, went to some of these organizations that are facilitating all of this. And that's the big con here, is that they form these nonprofits, they get government grants, so our tax money gets filtered through the federal government to these nonprofits who then turn around and burn us with it.
Yeah, and they're set up as some sort of Hispanic, what I mean, I'm making something up, but a Black Lives Matter type thing where they're just preaching diversity or something, and then they get all the free stuff, and they're tax exempt. They're 501c3.
And if you think that I'm exaggerating on this, I mean, go look. The evidence is out there that CHIRLA, one of these groups, and you can see their name on the bottom of some of these signs that are printed, got over $40 million. I think it was like 46. It was, if I'm remembering right. And what did they do with it? They turned around. They paid protesters. They trained protesters. They printed signs.
Bust them in.
Organized. Yes. So you're going to sit there and you're going to tell me that our tax money isn't funding these things that are burning our cities to the ground? We know they are. Data Republican did a whole set on figuring out where the money came from and where it went to, and these groups are front and center when it comes to fomenting these little color revolutions we see popping up in our cities. This is the same plan that our State Department has used to take down countries over in Europe and Africa and Asia and in South America. They want their socialist/communist utopia, and they think that they're going to get it through revolution.
That's scary.
Yeah.
That's just really scary.
Right.
Talk about a threat to democracy. I mean, gee whiz.
and this is not some conspiracy theory. This is traceable. The documentation is out there.
Yeah, it could be reported by like CNN or somebody, right?
Well, let's not go crazy. I mean, asking CNN to report anything.
I don't know. The immigration battle. I mean, I'm glad Trump's not backing down, because that would be the ultimate wrong move to do. I wonder how long does the Democratic Party, which I know is still confused and in the wilderness and leaderless and messageless and all that, how long do they defend the illegals? How long does that go on for? I mean, because I don't understand why level heads don't prevail to an extent. Like, deporting illegal alien convicted felons should not be a partisan issue.
Right.
Gang members. I mean, I don't understand why this has become, why is that so controversial? If Democrats want to make the argument that people who came here illegally, should have some sort of path to citizenship or something someday, which I don't really agree with, but because I think we've already dumbed down what being an American citizen is all about. Mm-hmm. At least that would be a counter argument that somebody could articulate and at least sort of respect, even if I don't agree with it. But how long do they stand there and pretend that there's no problem, pretend that it took legislation to close the border, pretend that you couldn't stop the flow of illegal aliens. Pretend that you can't deport people. How long do they pretend that?
As long as it'll hold out, because...
Is it holding out, though? Are they winning on it?
Not with public opinion, but in the court of what's actually happening on the ground, yes.
You think they're winning it?
We're finally starting to fight back and turn the tide. Let me correct what I said before, because this is important, and this is at the center of this. When we look at the LA riots, and we talk specifically about CHIRLA, and it's CHIRLA, the Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights of Los Angeles. You'll see their name on the signs. Again, not a conspiracy theory. I put this into liberal ChatGPT. Here's what I get. As far as taxpayer funding of CHIRLA and government grants. A key organizer at the Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights of Los Angeles, CHIRLA, has received substantial government grants, federal funding, a $450 million DHS, that's Department of Homeland Security grant in 2023 for citizenship and naturalization education. Multiple DHS grants totaling around $754 million under the Biden administration. California state funding, according to CHIRLA's IRS Form 990, it received approximately $34 million in government grants during the fiscal year ending June 2023, about 72% of its revenue. State grants included legal and deportation defense services ranging from $3 million annually. These are tax dollars derived from federal, state, and local budgets, and that is not including the private and dark money funding that they get. So, how do you fight that kind of money?
I hope Doge found this stuff.
Data Republican found it, supposedly, but it's right here in ChatGPT. Senator Josh Hawley and Tulsi Gabbard are both working on this right now. But
I love that. Teach illegal aliens about immigration, naturalization, education.
Yeah.
They came here illegally.
Right.
What do they care? And here's the other thing. Why should I have to compete with an illegal immigrant for a job? I see the liberals, we can't deport people. They work on fields or something, pick strawberries. They're being abused.
Yeah.
Whatever happened?
They're being trafficked here.
Whatever happened to,
in many cases,
the greedy corporation?
Right.
Pay a living wage.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to that? Why don't they care about that for them?
Right. We need to raise the minimum wage to $100 an hour.
But the illegal aliens, no. Let them be exploited so the price of my strawberries stays low and the corporation pockets all the money.
Right.
Well, where did that come from? They're in favor of this underclass of citizens being exploited.
Democrats have always been in favor of slavery. That's
it's Juneteenth, right?
Yes, it is Juneteenth.
Democrats
today.
who always, they always were for slavery.
Always for slavery. They started the KKK, Nathan Bedford Forrest. They were
who actually left the KKK when they got too violent, by the way.
Right.
A lot of people don't know that, but he actually got out of it. So, no, this isn't what I meant here. I didn't mean lynchings. I meant I don't want them voting.
Right. But it is a Democrat invention.
Sure.
They were recruiting Democrats in the South to the KKK.
Sure.
Slavery was a tool of Democrats, wealthy landowners who dominated the South in the 1800s.
And
1700s.
I so get offended when I heard the term Solid South applied to Republicans. That pisses me off. You know where Solid South came from.
Yeah.
It's the old Confederate states.
Right.
Who voted Democrat for 40 years, 50 years after the Civil War.
And you want to tell me that all of a sudden after the Emancipation Proclamation, everything was sunny in the South with the Democrats? No, it wasn't. In fact, the whole period afterward of Reconstruction, why do you think they were marching in Selma, Alabama? Because the blacks were welcome? No, because they wanted to still employ segregation to keep them separate. If we aren't going to be able to make slaves out of them and make them pick our cotton, we're going to make slaves out of them and keep them down in society.
Yeah, and if you look back, radical Reconstruction, when that ended with the Hayes-Tilden election,
Yeah.
It was I don't think a Republican won a southern state till Warren Harding, and by that time the Civil War generation was dead.
Right.
Teddy Roosevelt might have won a state or two down there, but I think he won Missouri, which was kind of a border state.
Right.
I think Harding won Tennessee in 1920. Of course, the Civil War generation by then was dead. So I think that's the first time somebody, and really Solid South stayed that way until Eisenhower. He was the first person to really break it. And of course, Eisenhower was the first person after Brown v. Board. He enforced desegregation.
Well, I mean, and you had a lot of the wealthy Democrats from the South moving into the urban areas in the North to be able to make money.
Yeah.
Right? Because they couldn't have people picking their crops anymore. And so you have this change where you have these poor Southerners that were never slaveholders to begin with, and so you have this change happening. But yes, so it moves from that to now, who else can we enslave? And you have human trafficking of Mexicans and other Central and South Americans that are by the carloads, the truckloads. They're coming in. They're being snuck in. Some of it's for drug trafficking. Some of it's for child trafficking and sex trafficking. Yeah. Some of it is for labor trafficking. And again, who is promoting it? The Democrats.
Yeah. Well, they're the ones turning the other way. I mean, they're the ones who are in favor of doing nothing. I mean, and here's the other thing. What happened to paying your fair share of taxes?
Yeah.
You think it's okay to pay people cash under the table? You think it's okay and they get no benefits? They get no,
right.
And the employers get away with that? I mean, and why should I have to compete? There's 5 million job openings in this country right now.
Yes.
Why should I have to compete with an illegal immigrant for them?
You shouldn't.
Because it depresses the wage scale. So why should I have to do that?
Right.
And it's all about like getting rid of the magnets. Why are they coming? I get why they come here.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to live in freaking El Salvador or nothing either. I understand it. But the magnets, why do they end up in 7, 8, 9, 10 states?
Right.
Wonder how that happens. They're not all going to, Florida or Alabama or Arkansas. They're not going there.
Right.
Why is it in certain states? And I'll tell you, part of the agenda, remember when Obama removed the citizen question from the census?
Yes.
You're counting persons, not citizens, which is total garbage.
Yeah.
Total crap. Talk about foreign interference in our elections. And I'm not necessarily saying they're all voting. I don't know that that's true. But I've been an election judge, and I know the chicanery I've seen. I believe it's worse now than ever.
Yes.
So I don't believe them. I just don't. I don't believe that things are on the up and up.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's... But again, I go back to ICE. What is, if the police raided a house that had, if we had a sanctuary city for deadbeat dads or a sanctuary city for income tax evaders, or that would never fly with anybody.
Right.
Why is it we can have a sanctuary city for illegal aliens? Why is that allowed? Why haven't previous presidents done this? These sanctuary policies have been there for decades.
Yeah.
Why didn't previous presidents do anything? The Congress still isn't doing anything.
Yeah.
Ron Johnson talked about this. About one of his issues is that the money is, we threaten not to give the money to these sanctuary cities, and it's still in the reconciliation bill. So let's take it out.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things he's trying to force. And so, I mean, we're still doing it, even though, and President Trump can only do so much executively. Congress has to do some of this stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, why do we put up with it? And it's funny, you look at polls on this is another 80-20 issue.
Oh, yeah.
This is maybe more than that.
But people in Congress, they know where their bread is buttered. They know where their money comes from. They know who's giving money to their campaigns. They understand that if they don't have the blessing of the people in power in their party, they're going to get primaried. They know this.
But I don't understand why it's a winning issue for them. That's the thing I don't get.
I think most of it happens in the dark. I mean, we don't really know how much money is going to Los Angeles for what. We don't know how much money is going to New York for what.
It could be dark money for sure. I don't know. But if I'm Kathy Hochul, why am I committing millions of dollars of New York taxpayer money to help illegals fight in court?
Mm-hmm. And that's something I don't understand about the Democrats.
There's already a public defender's office that they're financing, by the way, just to let you know.
Yeah. That's something I don't understand about the Democrats. And I don't mean the politicians. I mean just the normal people.
Right. Why don't Democratic voters do something
They're
about it?
They're angry about this. They don't like it, but they still vote for the same people that keep doing the same thing that they're not happy about.
It's like the trans issue. I know a lot of Democrats who don't like that either.
Yeah.
And it's like, but I think Democratic voters, and this is just my hunch, they are so afraid to offend anybody.
Yeah.
They are so afraid to see, as a conservative, I'm used to people calling me names and calling me Hitler and telling me to F off. That just 24 years I've had of that. That just is what it is.
Yeah.
I think Dems are so afraid to offend someone or not use the proper pronouns, or we can't use the word illegal. They're undocumented. They're so scared of it that I think it kowtows them into silence. I think there are Democrats in Congress who want to speak out on it and feel like they can't. They're afraid to be primaried. They're afraid their money will dry up. They're afraid that they'll get attacked by other Democrats. There's a handful that do, not very many. But you see what has happened to Senator Fetterman recently.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's been just torn to pieces.
Yes.
For what? Supporting fracking like he said he would when he go back to debate with Dr. Oz. He said it right then.
Yep.
I don't know, but it's like, somebody voted for Pam Bondi and we got to get out the slings and air. I mean, I think that they are just scared of their own.
Yeah. And wouldn't you be? I mean,
I don't know. In the Republican Party, I welcome debate.
Yeah.
That's
because we can debate.
Republicans, the sort of old guard that pisses me off, but I hope they don't leave. But I want there to be a debate about the direction of where the party's going.
Well, we disagree on things, but we don't try to ruin each other's lives. We don't cancel people. We don't try to get them fired. We don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
we don't picket outside other conservatives' houses. We
don't go after Supreme Court justices. Maybe you're right. Maybe that is the difference. Is just, to me, I am fine with having a debate about what the Republican Party should do. I think it makes us better.
Right.
I really think that. And I think like what's funny is when I saw something, I love Mark Halpern's podcast. I can't think of who he had on. Some Democratic lady who was actually pretty smart. You could tell she's frustrated with the Democrats.
Yeah.
And Halpern's trying to handicap the 2028 field. And I just remember he said to her something about Newsom, and like, okay, well, what can he go to the country and say he's done?
Yeah.
Well, what I mean, everything that the lady was talking about, and she wasn't a bad person. I ain't saying that, but nothing was about accomplishments.
Yeah.
What box they check, what how who'd raise money,
Yeah.
I mean, it was just the silliest thing on earth. I mean, J.B. Pritzker. I mean, somebody name 2 things he's done to make Illinois a better state. Exactly.
Food imports have increased, I think.
Okay. Taxpayer consumption of politicians' meals. But I mean, what? I mean, you should have somebody running for president should have a laundry list of that.
Yeah.
But just listening to them handicap the field, it was hilarious. They kept searching for a reason or a person, but but I've said this before, Jay, when you're leaderless and you're messageless, somebody fills that vacuum, and somebody's going to.
And up till now, it's been AOC and Bernie, or it's been
Rashida them to a degree. I don't know how seriously they're
Jasmine
taken.
Crockett.
Yeah.
But then on the other side, you have guys that are silently positioning themselves, like Ro Khanna, who's he's not nuts. He's left. Don't get me wrong. I would never vote for him in a million years, but he does believe in the Constitution. I'll take that over an AOC type.
Yes.
But
Rahm Emanuel's another guy working behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I don't know how seriously to take him.
Yeah. I don't know either. But
I don't know. He's a behind the scenes guy.
Yeah.
Not that's where he belongs, but to me, not presidential material. But that's me. I don't know.
I don't see him exciting a nation.
I don't either. And, but I mean, if you're Democrats and you're like, okay, like Fetterman put it best when he was on that, he did that thing with Senator McCormick and they brought up AOC and he said, sure. Tell AOC to come over here and see if she can win Pennsylvania. I mean, that's their challenge. Yeah. I mean, they know where they have to win. They know where they have to but I tell you what, it's got to be genuine. This is the thing that I think. I remember I watched something on. I watch all this stuff and I can never remember who it is. Well, the Democrats are going to start positioning themselves on this, triangulate on this issue. I'm like, nobody's falling for that.
No,
they're not falling.
They
for
don't
that.
agree. You've got the left and the far left.
You can't say that. Boys can be in women's sports for 20 years, then all of a sudden run for president and disavow it. That's not going to work.
No, people will see through that.
So, I mean, that's what I say. Every top contender for the Democrats has supported that, said Biden was sharp as a tack, said our border was secure in 2022.
Yeah.
I mean, that's disqualifying. In a real world, that's disqualifying. But remember the Democratic Party, Jay. Success is not how they're judged.
Yeah.
Success has nothing to do with them moving up or down.
Yes.
Got nothing to do with that whatsoever. Kamala Harris, total DEI pick. I mean, never could win a primary if she actually had to go through one.
No.
I mean, just total example of somebody out of their league. So, I mean, installed as a candidate.
Yes.
So, I mean, again, if you're going to do the box check. By the way, Gavin Newsom called his wife the first partner of California, by the way.
Oh, my word.
Not the first lady.
Yeah.
The first partner.
I don't think we elect a
I just want to know if my wife would ever refer to me as the first partner of our household.
I think she'd punch you.
Yeah, probably. If I said that, I probably...
She'd at least tell you to shut up.
Yeah, I'd have to duck for sure. But just silliness.
Yeah. Oh, my word. Yeah, these people trip over themselves to say the stupidest things. So it's... I don't know.
But, I mean, at some point, you're going to have to go where the voters want you to. And, I mean... but again, it's going to take a figure to do that, and they need their Trump.
Yep.
That's what they need.
I don't think there is one on the left.
There's a couple who could do it.
I don't know. You think there's a Trumpian figure on the left?
Yeah, Bill Maher, I think, could do it.
Maybe.
Mark Cuban.
Although Bill Maher has criticized Democrats, and I don't know that they put up with that.
But he's criticizing him on those 80-20 issues. He's on the Republican side of those.
Yeah.
Or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's criticized them on the border. He has criticized them on men and women's sports. In fact, he calls out Democrats more than he calls out Republicans right now.
Yeah, but will the Democrat Party, put up with that?
I don't know, because, you go back. I mean, I remember when Trump first got the nomination in 2016.
Yeah.
And I know there was the Never Trumpers were there. I thought that was kind of an elitist thing. I didn't really take it that seriously.
Yeah.
But I thought to myself, okay, Trump basically went to the Republicans and said, you know what? You're wrong on these issues. You're wrong on trade. You're wrong on the forever wars. I'm going to disavow what the Bush-Romney wing. Not on everything, but on those handful of issues, I'm not with you.
Yeah.
Ronald Reagan disavowed the Ford Rockefeller Republicans and ran as a staunch conservative. Well, they both won. I mean, what I'm saying is maybe because those Democrats have no person and all the, I mean, I remember the Bush years, all the angst about the border and about the free trade and about the forever wars, but they didn't have a home. Those Republicans didn't have a home.
Yeah.
They had a guy, there's the Ron Paul movement, but it was, it was what it was. I think it affected the party a little bit.
Oh, I think so, because I think where we are today as conservatives, what we see happening in the Republican Party has a lot to do with that, even though the numbers may not have been as big as they hoped. But you look at the percentage of the far left in the Democrat Party, people who are just nuts, and they are willing to tear the whole thing down if you don't move far enough left. I think it's a much larger percentage.
See, I don't know. I don't know if it's a percentage of Democratic voters or if it's a Democratic, the movers and shakers. But I think some people vote Democrat out of habit.
Yeah.
I don't think they vote because they know what they're voting for. They just do it out of habit.
Yeah. And you've got those too.
I'm union, and they're one issue people.
Yeah.
Which the right has too.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if, but that's where again you need leadership. Why are you afraid of AOC? What are you afraid of her for?
Yeah.
I mean, she talks and I laugh. What are you scared of?
Yeah.
Tell her to go pound sand. I mean, tell her to shut up.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do? What's she going to do to you? Okay? I mean, I can't understand that. And you know what? I sort of get, everybody talks about the far left. I'm going to be blunt with you. There's some issues where guys like Bernie Sanders make some sense.
Yeah, he has the wrong solution.
But he's got a pulse on, and why can't the Democrats harness that and offer a better solution? Why can't they harness Bernie's voters? Say, okay, you know what? We agree with you on the problem. We're not gonna have a socialist answer to it. Maybe we'll have a liberal answer.
Yeah.
But we're gonna make that more appealing. Why can't they do that?
Well, because they're not smart.
But it's kind of like saying, we on the right, we've got a problem. I don't know how to compare the two, but you can take an issue and broaden it.
Yeah.
Well,
you have people on the right that are fair trade and those that are free trade.
True. People who oppose abortion in all cases, oppose it in the first month, but you can get to a point where, okay, we all agree on this.
Yeah.
We all agree that late-term abortion should go. We all agree that you can find ways to get the movement on the same page, and that's what I can't figure out, why the Democrats can't do that. Why can't they sit down and see, okay, there's energy here. How do we take that energy and make it,
Yeah. Well, I think part of that is because they can't come to any common solution, because you have the people that are like, no, we must have the right to kill any baby at any time that we want to, versus those who are like, well, I approve of it here, but not here. And you have the same thing on immigration. I don't care for illegal immigration. I want all immigrants to be legal. You have some really strong dichotomies, and it's hard to bring those together.
Okay, you're not going to satisfy everybody. That's true.
But again, I think it's a pretty big section of the party that is really liberal, like far left, socialist, communist, and revolutionary.
Yeah, I think it's the activists versus the
Absolutely
low information voter. I think that's kind of...
Absolutely it is. And you've got really weak leadership.
Yeah.
I mean, Harry Reid.
Oh, he's dead, isn't he?
Oh, sorry, not Harry Reid.
Chucky. You're talking about Chucky.
Chuck Schumer. I'm still living 10 years ago.
At least.
You have Chuck Schumer. You got Hakeem Jeffries.
Is just a total joke.
Ken Martin. I mean, who do they have leading that party? Who's going to be able to provide clear leadership? I mean, really, Nancy Pelosi is still pulling strings behind the scenes.
Probably, but she was a pretty strong leader. I mean, say what you want. I mean, she was pretty well in charge, for better or worse. I mean, I remember one time she was asked about the squad, and she goes, yeah, that's like 5 people.
Yeah.
Just dismissed them. Didn't care. I think she put them in their place.
Right.
For a while. Then when she wasn't in charge anymore, all of a sudden,
weak leadership.
Yeah. I mean, some of them have been defeated, though. I mean, some of them have been taken out by other Democrats, too.
Yeah.
I mean, keep that in mind. I don't know that I think the squad is AOC. I mean, that's...
Ilhan Omar.
Yeah, I don't know how seriously she's taken.
Yeah.
I'm not sure Tlaib is taking all that seriously either.
Yeah,
I think AOC's the one, I think that...
Yeah. She is. And Jasmine Crockett's making a play for...
She's trying to get in there. I mean, I just... AOC, there's such a degree of unseriousness to her. I don't...
Yeah. She's not bright.
Do you think she's going to run for president? Do you think she'll run against Chuck?
I bet you she could be convinced to do it. I think she thinks she could handle it. She couldn't handle it. I mean, if she puts together a team like Biden had, I guess she could handle it because they make all the decisions.
Yeah. I don't know that she could hide like Biden, but I don't think that she would either.
Imagine her giving a national address. Oh, my word.
But why? I mean, if I were leader of the Democratic Party, why I'd be afraid of a 33-year-old bartender? I don't know why, but
yeah,
again, it's that leadership vacuum. It's Bernie would be the leader of the party if he was younger. If he was 20 years younger, he'd be the leader of the party right now.
And that's frightening because that's socialism.
Yeah, Bernie's
bordering on communism.
Bernie's honest about it. Yeah. Everybody else pretends. He says no.
He's kind of honest about it.
He's sort of honest.
He's got more houses than most people.
Yeah, he's got more money than he wants. He's the top 1%.
Yeah.
I think that do you think Ellie Stefanik runs against Kathy Hochul? That's the latest buzz that I've heard in New York.
Yeah, that might be.
I mean, keep in mind, Lee Zeldin got 47% of the vote in 22, and Trump got like 1 million more votes in New York than he did the previous time. I mean, is New York ripe for a? Are they ripe for a? I mean,
I don't know, because you look at New York City, where most of the votes are. Andrew Cuomo is running for mayor. The baby, or the grandma killer, is running winning in most polls,
right?
And one poll he lost, you have an actual avowed,
and you see Eric Adams leave the party and moderate, and now he's pretty much kicked out. as soon as he moderated, they indicted him for some bullcrap charge.
Right.
As soon as he criticized immigration, he was kicked out. Maybe you're right. But again, is that the movers and shakers of the party, or what is that? I mean,
I don't know.
You're right. I mean, New York City makes it really hard. It's been a long time since the Republic. George Pataki? I mean, it's been a while, and you got to go back to the 90s for Alphonse D'Amato. Wasn't he from New York? I mean, long time ago. And I think presidential-wise, I think Reagan was the last person to carry New York. I don't know. I don't know that it's winnable. I'll tell you what, though, that race is going to draw. If Stefanik in particular is the candidate, that race is going to draw a whole lot of resources to fend her off.
Yes.
And so I don't know. I actually worry about her House seat a little bit more than I worry about the governorship. But I know she's from upstate, but that doesn't automatically mean it's a Republican seat.
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe, but I just wonder whether these states can. How much longer can they live under the weight of the leadership they have?
Yeah.
How much longer can that happen? How much longer can Democrats tax and spend in New York? I mean,
I don't know. Will they ever vote in their best interest, or are they going to watch it all collapse and stand by their party? I don't know. But that's really the only two options I see.
I don't know. I'm real interested to see what happens, like in the governor races this year, because New Jersey will be an interesting one.
Yep.
The guy is, I can't think of his name, who's running as the Republican, nearly won 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And now the Democrats are running an open. It's not an incumbent anymore.
Oh.
And you wonder, I can't recall who it is, but they just had a primary like 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, is that a sleeper possibility? And
possible.
Then, what happens with Glenn Youngkin not being able to run for another term in Virginia?
Right.
I mean, there's rumors that he wants to run for that Senate seat next year. I don't know. But can the Republicans hold that?
I don't know. I think Winsome Sears is popular there.
Yeah.
And she'd be really good, I think.
I think she's the candidate. I think they've had their but that's a state, again, another one of those states kind of ripe for a change. I really think that Trump would have won there had he spent more time and money there. I mean, he didn't have to. But,
right.
That'll be an interesting thing, though, to watch those unfold. I don't know that it means anything for next year. I don't like to draw too much out of a governor's race. I think that because of these dumb odd year things, they're going to get overblown.
Yeah.
Win, lose, or draw.
Well, that's true.
But I do think us political junkies read too much into those things. But it is interesting to see what will happen there. And what happens in the Senate next year, the way it's kind of shaping up. I mean, you look at the seats that are up, and the tough seats are all the Democrat seats.
Yeah.
You got that open seat in Michigan. You got, I would say, Senator Ossoff in Georgia is definitely not the favorite there.
No.
There's a handful of other ones, and I just, I wonder, the Republicans could actually pad their majority if they play the cards right.
They can.
And we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, they can turn gold into lead, but we'll see. I don't know. Obviously, as it gets closer, I'm a little worried about the North Carolina seat. I think Tom Tillis is really weak. But, North Carolina is one of those states where the Republicans just seem to eke out a win all the time. I don't know that he's really in that much jeopardy there, and I just don't see a lot of vulnerable Republicans. I really don't. So, and I'll tell you what, you look at the next cycles after that, the Democrats in Arizona, the Democrats in Nevada, they're going to, I mean, I think they're going to have a tough, Fetterman's seat, whether he can run again or whether he probably will get primaried. He might just say, F, it's a presidential year, and I think that hurts Fetterman.
Yeah.
Because I think the Republican's clearly the favorite in that state. So.
Yeah, although he might have good enough rapport with people with
the
stands he's taken.
He could win a 50-48 race. He definitely could. But it's going to be a slugfest. It's going to be a tough one.
It will.
And he's going to need the left. And I don't,
Yeah.
What?
It's where he might not have them.
Yeah. I'd just quit if I were him. It just isn't worth it. Just do your 6 years, and it's just not worth it.
Yeah.
That's me. Just pull a Joe Manchin, just get out. But I'll tell you what, though. Let me. I just want to say one thing about the big Buffalo Bill or whatever that's going on.
Yeah.
I made a prediction that I thought this would be wrapped up. They're talking mid-August now.
Yeah.
That may be for the good. We may get a better bill. But I don't know. I am very concerned that the Senate bill can't pass the House, and the House bill can't pass the Senate. And then they may have to break it down.
Yeah.
Too late to break it down. And I'm very worried about the tax cuts not having an effect. I want them to have an effect.
Yeah.
And so, but I do like some of the things that the Senate has done. But I'm telling you, the cuts are just never going to be enough, Jay. I mean, even $2 trillion sounds like a lot.
It's not.
But it's not relative to what we're talking about.
Right.
I mean, if we could cut $2 trillion every year, that would be okay.
Yeah.
But we both know that that's not going to happen. No. Certainly ain't going to happen next year. So I'm getting nervous about the timeline here. And nobody seems to have any sense of urgency. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Apparently, J.D. Vance is involved now as kind of a liaison from the White House. Obviously, him being in the Senate, I mean, he knows everybody there. But what do you think, Jay? Just real quick. I mean, the Senate, they're going to pass something. I mean, no question they're going to pass something.
Yeah.
Are we going to
have to?
Are we going to pass something better, worse? Are we going to be pissed? Are we going to be...
Well, we won't be happy.
I mean, there'll be some good things, obviously. There's no doubt there'll be some good things. But are we any... Is the Senate bill going to be better than the House bill?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yes, absolutely.
Can the House pass the Senate bill?
I think that's more likely than vice versa.
Yeah. Do they have to negotiate a little bit between the two? Do they have to? I hate to drag out the word conference committee because it's not really what they do in the federal level. But I mean, does it happen smoothly or does it not happen that smoothly?
I would hope so. I mean,
I hope everybody can be a bigger,
Yeah. I mean, if you can get it past Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski, you should be able to get it past the House.
Well, I think they'll vote for it.
Yeah.
I think the question is more the Liberty MAGA people, I think, are a little bit, they want more cuts. They want more things like that, the Ron Johnsons, the Mike Lees, the Ted Cruzes, the Rand Pauls. And then I think some of the MAGA people aren't happy that President Trump's, there's the House has a limit on no taxes on tips.
Yes.
to $25,000.
Oh, my word, yeah.
The mega people who ran on it last year are not happy about that.
Right.
I mean, it's a good first step. I mean, it would be better than nothing.
Right.
But they weren't, that SALT thing is not popular, especially among, if I'm a senator from Mississippi, what reason would I have to, I think that goes in the Senate bill for sure. So I think something will, I just have the gut feeling that I am just going to pick this apart and just not be very happy.
Right.
It's just,
yeah.
I mean, I've been an optimist since November 5th, but I just, for some reason, just feel like this is where the Republicans fall down.
Yes.
This is where they never have their act together.
That's true.
And I can't blame it all on Johnson and Thune. I mean, like I said, Republicans have policy differences with each other. I mean, It's true. We're not afraid of it. But at some point, we got to come together and do what we were elected to do. And, I don't know.
You and me both.
Oops. Sorry, we got to get the brother love theme. There we go. Well, I hate to be a negative Nancy there, Chase, so pump me up. Styling, profiling, jet flying, limousine riding, wheeling, dealing, son of a gun. All right, Jay, give us the sermon.
The end is near.
Yeah.
Well, that may not be such a humorous statement. That might be closer than we think to true. Man, we covered a lot today. We looked at so many different things, and it's all important. I mean, you have any of these things fall through into chaos, and we're in a lot of trouble. So what do we do? Because we've got our own issues here in Minnesota. At any moment, we could have protests erupt. I think what happened last Saturday with the shootings, unfortunately, they shouldn't have happened, but they probably limited some of the left's ability to really go as all out as they wanted to, and they had to temper back their protests, which I think bought us some time. The price wasn't worth it. I mean, I'll tell you that, but we're not out of the woods. There's a lot of summer left. There's a lot of rage left. And there's a lot of problems that just have not been solved. Now, I'm a firm believer in our ability to pull through this, our ability to stand up, take leadership, and make something good out of whatever this is we face. But it's going to take all of us to do a little something. Now, we all are a part of a community, it's where we live, where we go to church, where we bring our kids to school or to baseball, or if soccer were actually a sport, I guess you could say that too. Here's the problem. We go, we watch our kids, we go, we sit in the pews, we go, whatever. But we don't take that next step to become a valued part of that community so that we can lend our voice and hold some sway over what goes on there. And you might say, well, nothing crazy happens in my community. You'd be surprised. We've gone into some of the most conservative areas of this state. We have found that the city councils, the county boards, the school boards are as far left as anywhere else. They hide it better because they don't want you to know what they're doing behind the scenes. But to see the DEI that's pushed, to see the money that's spent, to see the bike paths and the trying to reduce traffic flow and the multi high density housing units, and these are things that are happening everywhere, and it doesn't seem to matter what the political climate is in that area. These are still the things that are happening. Now, you can be a part of that solution, but it can't come by sitting on the sidelines. It can't come by remaining silent. It can't come by not using your voice. It's time. We are there. If we want this place to be passed on to our progeny, if we want to be able to say that we saved liberty for our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, instead of standing by and watching it fall apart on us and not having a republic anymore, a constitutional republic, then by all means do nothing. But that's not the kind of country I want for me, for my children, for my grandchildren, those that come after me. I want them to be able to know freedom like I've known it, to taste freedom like I've tasted it. And so that's why I sacrifice. And every day I get up and I do what I can for those in my church, for those in my city, for those that are around me. I do my best. And it's just a new way of life that we've got to learn to adopt. We can't be lazy. We've got to go forward, being focused on changing the future. Now, if you're interested in that, we'd love to help you figure out how to do that in your city, your school board, your county board. Heck, we have won races for people in all of those levels. And at the state representative level, we've won state races. We've won local races, township supervisors. We would love to help you if you want to set up a blog or a podcast. If you want to get into citizen journalism, if you want to be able to have something change in the direction that your city is going, we would love to help you. Get a hold of us at commsolutionsmn@gmail.com. That is commsolutionsmn@gmail.com. And let's get the conversation going. We're in critical times, and you are a critical piece of the puzzle. We love you, Minnesota, but now it's your turn to get to work.
To fight, to strive. It's that spark that makes